They've squared off for the third year in a row here at Sandown. Johnson and Bow on the front row. Aaron Seaton will join Ryle Harris on that second row with Adam Bresington and Adam Garwood out of 5 and 6. Zakanovic and Policina and Ryan Hansford and Andrew Fisher starting from the 5th row.
Stephen Johnson's pole time was 1 minute 13.5. They're only 6 seconds slower around here than a supercar. The pace in this field this year is absolutely record-breaking. They're pushing very, very hard. And it all stems from a championship battle that's being waged at the moment. 4 drivers are in contention. It's being led by Stephen Johnson. He's the defending 2-time champion, looking to go back to back to back. The only person, Matt, that's done that before is John Bow, who's currently on corrected points at least in 2nd place in the standings.
That's how it looks coming into the second last round of this series. And for John Bow, he's still there. It's going to take a bit of an effort from him to win this series right now, but as we've seen in other categories, it can happen, particularly when we go to Newcastle, which we know is a bruising affair.
So the championship decided on the best 19 races of the year, so it effectively works out that you drop your worst race of the season. So that is the corrected score. The numbers in brackets to the side is where they'd be if it was uncorrected. So Harris and Bow actually would swap positions before the points are corrected and that worst race is dropped. Bowie's got a couple of DNFs and that certainly helped his cause.
Matt and Richard, as the cars roll around for the grid boys, I just checked on the weather radar and there is a little bit of light rain floating around.
No,
so
Andy,
this is going to light up even more. I'll let you guys commentate. I'll go get my weather rock and I'll keep you updated if any drops fall on it.
Not that rock again. He brought that back from Bathurst. Andy Jones in the pits. Richard Crowell and Matt Nolte with you for this one as we get set under grey skies here at Sandown Raceway. The thunder and the rumble of the Payne & Dixon Touring Car Masters, round number 6, race 1 of the weekend. Johnson and Bow, it's retro weekend. We do it all year in the Touring Car Masters, and we're underway here for race number 1 over 10 laps.
Wow, big start, Ryle Harris from the 2nd row of the grid. Big brake block up in the middle. That's Adam Garwood. They're 4 wide. The White Line racing cars squeeze through turn 1.
Just got through. I mean, they were squeezing him right into the middle of turn 1, but he survives and will slot back in to position 6. But it's Johnson, the healthy margin already at the top of turn number 4 from Bow. Ryle Harris is 3rd, Seaton is next, and Bresington and Garwood. Good to see the Peter Burnett car back out on the circuit there. The Lighthouse Hotel entry, the Tirana, is back up that damage in race number 1, the trophy race this morning.
Yeah, it looks pretty second-hand. It's like it's come out of a demolition derby at the Speedway on a Saturday night, but at least it's out there. That's big. Jim Policina being gobbled up by Ryan Hansford at the top of the rise on the run into turn 6.
Sakanovic's got some damage to his 71 car. There it is. So he was caught up in that turn 1 skirmish. Getting squeezed off the track is Harris, and he water skis his way back onto the track, but he'll drop a ton of positions now in the EFS Camaro. That's
critical. He's a championship contender. He is right in the fight. But now he's right in the thick of the field. Drop down the order. John Bow's flashing the lights in car 18, going after his old rival and friend and teammate, Stephen Johnson, who leads at lap 1 of 10. Good start. Johnson, Bow and Seaton, 1, 2 and 3. Bresington, who is the 4th of our title contenders. He's 144 points off the series lead on the corrected score, but still very much a chance. Bresso said to me this morning, my target's P3. I want to beat Ryle Harris. Well, so far, that's worked really well with Harris off the road, down the field in 13th place.
And a lot of work to do for the Peters Motorsport team as that spread the field out a bit. The view from the Amarok V6 drone cam as we look down this super fast 900-metre back straight at Sandown Raceway. Bow right on the back of Johnson as they went through the shot into turn number 6. We pick up, here is Harris, with just behind him Tony Karanfilowski. Ben Dunn is just on the field with Burnett. Gary O'Brien is in 17th, and Damien Gambold is down the turn number 9. We go here on lap 2.
Look at Burnett's car. It's missing the front bar. It's missing some panels on the side. Still running, though. Old Holdens, they just keep going faster and faster, don't they? Mason down the inside. Really awkward contact there with Zakanovic. He's got the front bar of the XD Falcon flailing around. Race control will be looking at that pretty closely as well. They may get the bad sportsmanship flag, and the rear one, in sympathy, is hanging off on the same side.
Bow to the lead in turn number 1. We joined him just as it was happening, so the Tirana goes back into the lead. He's 2nd on the all-time wins list here behind the great Jim Richards. That's across the curve at turn 2, so we've got ourselves a race here at the front because Johnson will fight, but we know this is Tirana town when it comes to races.
The Mustang will have a little bit better poke up the back straight as well. It's got a little bit extra capacity, but gee, the Tirana gets out of the slower corners well, puts its power down really nicely. Bow just sitting in the middle of the road. Here we go, wheel to wheel. White Line Racing teammates. Adam Garwood can hear the car just kissing the rev limiter on the run up to turn 6. So they've got it geared absolutely perfectly. Goes past his teammate.
That's a great bit of racing side by side between the teammates. At turn 9 now they go. So Garwood up into 4th position and sets sail for Aaron Seaton just ahead as it still continues to get darker here as Sandown Raceway come through to complete lap number 2 of this race. Well, I'm going to fill in for Andy Jones. He's going to find his weather right.
You are tempting fate, my friend, by saying anything about the weather. Well, hopefully for the drivers, it goes the other way.
Unlike Andy, I get it right.
Correct, and it's bright and sunny at the end of the race. So Seaton now closing in on Johnson for 2nd and 3rd place. Young Aaron's had a terrific season since jumping aboard the Leo Tobin-owned THD Developments car. Now let's go back and unpick what happened off the launch here. Really clean start. Harris away nicely. The Camaro jumped well, but check out the 4-wide action in the middle. So that's Adam Garwood with both fronts locked, and it was threading the eye of the needle for White Line Racing.
Hansford had to get out of the throttle for a split second, and he could see this coming a mile away. Man, Garwood was lucky. That was enough to rip off the front bumper or leave it dangling on the Marcus Suganovic car. The XD Falcon just ahead, and this will tell us what happened to Ryle Harris down at turn number 9, the 3rd car in the shot. It'll happen just before we get to him and classic turn 9. Sandown, there is it. Gee, he was actually lucky to get away with that.
Incredibly lucky. Very, very wet overnight. A lot of rain in Melbourne over the last 24 hours. So as a result, wow, all on his own. Too hot, cold Hoosier tyres. And just fired the car off the road. So that gravel trap, which is already difficult at the best of times to get out of when it's dry, right now is like driving into a swamp. So he is very lucky to get out of that. And this is Suganovic. And that move up the inside, Mason had a big go, needed some curb to get that car up the inside without turning around car 71.
New front on. Mason car goes down the inside, squeezed up onto the curb from Suganovic, while Andrew Fisher and the Tirana that Jim Policina used to drive just sat back. That's what set up that chain of events on the exit. He took Bruce Williams with him on the way down the straight. While that was happening, Bow was setting up Johnson to take the lead here at turn number 1. Glad you're here. Second pair of eyes.
What a sequence of events we've had in the first couple of laps of this one. Nice textbook Sandown move that down the inside. The Tirana gives away horsepower to the bigger capacity cars, but they get out of the slow corners here at Sandown so well that they're actually really good in a straight line. Wow, Andrew Fisher. I was wondering why Ryan Hansford tumbled down the order a little bit. Well, that's why. Jesus Racing Tirana went down the inside, backed it in, and then went wheel to wheel with Bruce Williams, who won the trophy race this morning. This has all been going on.
And good bit of racing, too. They were side by side and barely touched. Williams locking up the left front going through. The S's up there at the top of the circuit. Here it is again. So they stayed side by side. I often say you can't do that. These guys proved me wrong.
Oh, wow. Oh. And that's, yeah, it's broken the left front. I was looking at it over the curb going, that can't be right, and he's ended up in the fence. So launching it into that curb's damaged either the control arm or the upright in the front corner of the AC Delco Tirana, and it is broken. And Bruce gave the wall there at turn 4. Pertec fence, quite a significant nudge.
There he is, limping back to the pits. How quickly can change. Just under 2 hours ago, he took victory, and now the AC Delco Tirana with the retro bonnet is limping back to the pits. Hey, how do you like this for a top 3 right now? Bow, Johnson and Seaton at Sandown. There is Seaton on the back, across the top of the curb, and looking to engage in this battle.
First generation Bow, second generation Racing Johnson, third generation Racing Seaton behind. What a cool story. And what a great show they're putting on at the front of the field as we get to the halfway point of this race.
Well, these guys battle it out at the front. This beautiful Mustang of Cameron Mason's has come into the pit lane. Let's have a look at this little gap here between the front bumper bar and the guard. Come around to the left-hand side. I might just jump in here if I can, but we have a look at this panel gap. It's about double the thickness. Why is this important? There's copped a hit on the front here. It's pushed this guard all the way on into the tyre. There's a heap of smoke coming out of it. The team has said we're going to park it. We don't need to pop the front tyre and end up in the fence.
Not at this track. Certainly not at this track for Mason. The car sits back in the pits, thanks to Andy Jones in the pits as well. 4-car battle now with Garwood joining in from the Amarok V6 drone cam. Down the back straight, lap 7 of 10 in the first points pain race of the weekend. There is Bruce Williams. He's trying to limp this car back around. He's got another lap.
Yeah, I think he's trying to get to points, but it's something
damage.
Failed now because you can see it dragging underneath the car. Sparks from the AC Delco Tirana. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't go to pit lane after that. That looks like lower control arm. Mounts onto the cross member underneath the front subframe there of the SLR 5000 Tirana. Clearly departed from its brackets. Well, this guy is, I think, the joker in the pack for mine, because there's no championship worries at all for the now 21-year-old Adam Garwood from Tasmania. It's his third round in this car. He's driving freely, no pressure, go and do your own thing. And this could be an ace across the next couple of races, because he will have no dramas getting right into the mix with Bow, Johnson and Seaton in front.
We get so many requests from fans that watch this coverage about listening to the engine noise. So crank it up at home, we go for a lap around Sandown.
Great to ride on board with Adam Garwood, Matt. And getting the rev limiter quite regularly. You could hear it up the back straight. And earlier in the race, he wasn't to the rev limiter so earlier, but now he's got 3 cars towing him up the hill. These cars punch a massive hole in the air. They're not very aerodynamically special, so you do get quite an aero assist. So extra straight line speed. The car was crashing into the rev limiter before he got up the hill to turn 6.
We're sure everybody at home liked that, except the engine builder.
Yeah, correct.
That car shot is really punishing that number 85 car. Here's the super slow-mo of the 2 Tiranas. And you can really see the damage was done to the AC Delco Tirana before he got to that curb down there at turn 2 and 3.
Oh, and it's definitely broken now.
That was the next lap by, wasn't it?
So you can see the steering rack is scraping on the ground, but that looks like the lower control arm that holds the upright in place. Spent my share of time under the front ends of Holden Tiranas, and that's not how they're supposed to work. That's a shame for Bruce. He had such a good race this morning. Really enjoyed that move on the outside of Cam Mason. 1 lap dash to the line. How's this battle though, Matt? This is terrific. Further back, Jim Policina's got Byard and Bressington. So he's up in 5th place. Bressington back to 6th. And Zakanovic with bits hanging off the XD Falcon continues on. Hasn't been bad sportsmanship flagged. He's still 7th. Harris is up to 8th. So he's driving through the field. In fact, he's just past Marcus. Hansford 9th, and Andrew Fisher rounding out the top 10. 1 lap to go. JB in front. Will take a few points out of this championship rival if they finish the way they are.
Meantime, Zakanovic has now been passed by Ryle Harris, who dropped down to 13th, is now up to 8th position. So he's stopped the rot of what happened on the first lap. He'll gain some points as they go past the limping Bruce Williams Tirana. Bow and the rest of the field. Oh no, this is Andrew Fisher facing the wrong direction. Down at turn number 1, while the leaders on their way down to turn number 6.
Had Tony Karamfilowski behind him, so I'm not too sure if they were close enough to cause dramas. Leaders down the hill. Final few opportunities now. Everyone defending there. See how the cars all stacked up? Johnson had to go and look down the inside. He was then blocking from Seaton, who was covering from Garwood, who had a big moment coming out of Dandenong Road. What a great motor race, and a really good win for John Bow this.
Second victory of the season for JB, but he's 7th here at Sandown. He's had a mortgage on this place over the years and gets it done in race 1 of the Paynter-Dixon Touring Car Masters here today by less than a second to Johnson, Seaton and Garwood, all covered by less than 2 seconds in the first race of the weekend.
And Aaron Seaton smashes the TCM lap record at Sandown. 1.5 seconds faster It's now a 1:14.08. That is huge. Top 9 cars, all beneath the existing lap record for the category here at Sandown. Bruce is going to finish this race.
The car looks better now than it did the last 2 laps.
I think knocking some speed off and perhaps not using so much curb has helped the cause.
He's going to get home here for 16th position in the end after winning the trophy race today. He gets some points, but the battle-wearied AC Delco Tirana gets to the line. But today, it's about Bow and Johnson again. They reach across for the handshake. Oh, he missed him. This time he gets him without trading paint. They go 1 and 2 once again here in the Painter-Dixon Touring Car Masters by less than 7/10 of a second. Aaron Seaton third, Adam Garwood, Jim Policina, Adam Bresington in 6th ahead of Ryle Harris, Marcus Sukanovic, Ryan Hansford and Tony Karafalowski, your top 10.
Cracking motor race. Well done, Jeremy Graham, the Caprito 11th. Ben Dunn was 12th. Andrew Fisher after